Ladies and gentlemen, according to the pseudo red pill community, everybody's a 304 now. Welcome to another episode of Nerd Chronicles with your host, the socially awkward nerd, Christian Paul speaking. And ladies and gentlemen, I have some very, very insane stuff that's been going on from the pseudo red pill community, none other than Steph is cold. And I have a video that literally showcases you some of the contradictions that he's mainly spewing, and based on one of the theories I'm literally about to challenge. It's self-explanatory. Let's dig into it together. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Steph is cold here. You know what I mean? Actually just trying to spew some game, some pseudo red pill game to some of you young lads out here that are looking to try to heed his message and looking to copy on everything that he does. Let me try to make sure I wipe it down. Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. On everything that he does when it comes to game, when it comes to macking, when it comes to the Matrix. You feel me? And according to him, right, every girl that you see and even every girl that's with you has 304 nature, okay? They want to yearn to be a 304. They want to live to be a 304. And let's get to dig into his reasoning behind it.
At the end of the day, you have to be okay with her being a 304. At the end of the day, that's all you got to be okay with.
And that's fine. You know, if that's really the case that she wants to be a 304, and if she wants to do 304 things, all right, you know what I mean? Make sure you get solid evidence actually proving that. Make sure you get thorough evidence and actually get some visual evidence as well, even audio based on what's been going down, if there's any texts going on, if there's any issues, or if things aren't really just filling off. You know what I'm saying? If you, as a man individually, is feeling real concerned about it, just let it go and let it be and just focus on you and go with some other woman that mainly values you thoroughly. No matter who they are, you know what I'm saying? You gotta go into no revenge breakup, but definitely just get rid of her. Seek therapy from a specialist that actually thoroughly knows your situation and that can thoroughly relate to you. Seek a therapist that can specifically relate to you, not just any old therapist any type of way saying that you gotta just feel something out and you gotta try and think like a woman. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying get a therapist that's definitely as neutral and as balanced as possible and understands your situation thoroughly. That's all I'm saying. Now let's continue to see what this young gentleman is mainly saying. And mind you, Steph is cold. I believe he's still together with his girlfriend at the time. So if the girlfriend actually follows everything that he mainly preaches, that's good. You know, ain't nothing wrong with that. There's some that actually do think that way. But unfortunately, that's not all reality.
I'm at the gym right now. I just took my pre-workout, and I'm sipping on my water before I go in the gym.
Juicy!
At the end of the day, you got to be okay with her being a 304. You will not succeed in no other way because it is attaching you to all of your problems when they come to her. I'm telling you, bro.
Then leave her alone and ghost her. It's that simple.
You gotta just accept it. Understand that.
And this is not me trying to attack Steph. I understand he's trying to keep an audience. It's just the messaging that I really have an issue with.
I'm just gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you one thing, but it's another thing. But you know, your gut is really telling you something else. Your gut is really telling you the truth about it. Like, you and her not really having as much intercourse.
Now, this could be some reasons for it, but there's some that are definitely extreme cases. Yes, that's one angle that Steph mainly describes. Another angle is that she could be extremely exhausted from working a long day job. She has a very daunting schedule when it comes to actually dealing with a complex career. Definitely some complicated careers. Definitely if you run a CEO position, if you run an engineering position, if you actually do anything related to the sciences, engineering, tech, definitely in medicine, whether you're being a doctor, nurse practitioner, social worker, they take up a lot of your time and they can literally bleed you out dry. And add the fact, which is just the beginning, you could be dealing with a long commute, trying to actually get to work on time, which could be another huge factor as well. All of these things, especially when you're living up in the New York City area, they can literally get you worn out and can literally get you literally all gassed up. When you're working long hours, we got to be dealing with complex commutes and you got short hours of sleep. You know what I mean? That could be like some legitimate factors that are there. Other cases could be they could be dealing with like a life-threatening disease. They could be sick. That could be another factor as well. Those factors that Steph didn't really point out on. They're assuming like, oh, like she's not answering your call. You're not having scrambled eggs as much. You're not having sex as much. That means she's automatically cheating and going to another guy. Not always the case. Maybe in some cases, some women would do that. Yes, I'm not fully dismissing. I'm not saying what he's saying is false. I'm not saying that. But what he's not saying is there are other factors as well as to why she could be extremely booked. She could be extremely booked studying for med school. She could be extremely booked studying for grad school, trying to get extremely high grades. We just don't fully thoroughly know. That's why I'm saying you have to make sure you get thorough, concrete evidence of this woman actually cheating. And you got to make sure that trust is mainly built in a relationship from the beginning. If you're really all that concerned that your woman is actually cheating on you and actually seeing some other women every single time that's up in your mind, you're getting distracted. You're becoming much more insecure than you were now. And soon you're going to lack confidence. And soon your woman will actually sniff that and she'll start losing respect for you. And now be able to more so actually justify your guts and justify your concerns on why she's acting this way. And eventually she could probably leave your ass. You know what I'm saying? In due time. So that's why I'm saying don't be worrying about all this crazy outside noise. Don't worry about all this outside nonsense of what's really going on, what other people are mainly doing, and focus on what you two guys are going on in the house. Let's see on what this gentleman has to say.
Or you and her not seeing each other as much. Or, she's working as more as usual. Or, she's not part.
The working more than usual, it could be because the boss is asking them to work a little bit longer because somebody's sick. It could be having to deal with a deadline, or they could be dealing with like a big trial if they're working as a paralegal or an attorney. Those are some factors as well. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'll say some women would use that as a cover to see other dudes. That's fine. I understand that. But if we're going to go with that argument, there are some dudes that have worked long jobs, dealing with extremely high paying careers. There are very hard discipline and are very complex careers that can be very stressful jobs. And they're dealing with very daunting tasks. They're actually working extremely long hours and trying to deal with heavy demand just to make sure that everything is all good to prevent themselves from a firing. You know what I'm saying? Some of them may use that as a cover to actually go see other women and actually pipe them down as well. That's the other argument also.
Prioritizing you as much as she used to. And she fills in all these extra things that to try to make you feel better and make your ego feel better, but deep down it's another guy.
And I'm going to say to you, that's not always the case. It's not always the case, Steph. Other women can literally go by as well. Some women can literally go by and actually want to try out women if we want to actually go that far. And then there's some that actually are a little legitimate, or if they choose a single mom route. But I know. Let me not go there. I know many of y'all mainly preach don't ever date single moms, so let's put the single mom situation out of the side. Even though that could be practical as well, they could focus on children if they're single moms. But let's take that situation out the side and actually exclude that from the situation, since you want to make sure that pseudo red pillars and pseudo alphas, woof woof, don't date single moms or don't bag single moms, and that's fine. That's your right. Not really mad at that. We'll just actually keep that out the way. But as I said before, you got to be dealing with some women that are dealing with jobs that are extremely demanding. You have like certain cases where they have like very long hours, especially if they're running like entrepreneurial jobs, especially when they're actually trying to build businesses on social media that make 6-figure incomes. Those things, it can literally take up a lot of their schedule, even though they can control it. But it can take up a lot of the time, especially when they're trying to make money. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm explaining to you. It's not always them literally seeing other dudes. Now, some of them will use that for cover. Not saying that he's fully wrong, but some of them will use it for cover, but not all. I could correct his wording in saying that every person has seen tendencies and they have 3 or 4 tendencies. I could definitely say that. But definitely some people actually just act up on that, because a lot of people are definitely disciplined when it comes to their nature, when it comes to real life. Some are disciplined, some are not.
Always another guy, bro. I'm always gonna tell y'all that, G. And the only thing that's stopping you, bro, the only thing that's stopping you from believing that is your ego, bro. Patrice O'Neal even said that your ego is the end.
And if you're really that concerned, why are you letting Lily get to the way? And if they explain to you multiple times, all you gotta do is just break them off. You ain't gotta go through all that crazy stuff that's there. If you really are that comfortable, like not really going through like the ebbs and flows and the peaks and valleys of relationships, you're not really ready for it. This goes to go start pimping, start playing, have multiple rotations, bag them up, get your knots count up. Just don't even commit about even a serious relationship or serious marriage then. How about that?
Me, bro. Your ego is stopping you from believing that it's not another guy. Water break.
Juicy. Getting himself moisturized for the juice.
She acting juicy. Funny. It's another guy. You called her and she ain't pick up twice, 3 times, and then she texts you in the morning and don't call you. It's another guy. I'm telling you.
Not always.
Even the story with, what I'm saying, Gina and Genesis. If y'all want the story on that, subscribe to the Patreon. They wound up blocking me on Instagram, but even Genesis, they was late to the workout one time, and she just, I'm like, well, why was you up all night? We was watching TV shows, and what was you watching? Oh, I don't know what I was watching. Oh, I was just on the phone. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, I know, probably talking to another dude. Now my little brother, he said.
Now, what if someone gets caught up in traffic? That could happen too. So many variables. We don't fully know.
These things like, man, you know what, Steph, bro? Every girl ain't like that. Every girl ain't doing that.
That's accurate. In real life, that is definitely accurate.
See, that's what all these dudes say, right?
Juicy.
And that's a coping mechanism.
No, it's not. Actually, if you're actually assuming that every woman is literally being a 304 just because they out busy or they working late, they just don't even have that much time to talk. Now, they do find a way to actually talk to you down the line, maybe like a week or so or 2 later. They literally will try and they best to literally find a way to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? They will find a way to actually make that shit work. You feel me? If not, just let them go. And if you guys are still together, they will still find a way to actually try and keep the spark going. Only people that actually are deeply in love or deeply attracted to one another and actually want to see them will find a way to make it happen. Especially women. Okay? They will find a way to actually make that stuff happen. You know what I'm saying? But if you really are that concerned that the woman is really going to come by and actually see some other dude instead of actually just focusing on you and focusing on your internal and letting outside noise dictate your relationship, then you shouldn't be in one in the first place, just as I've said before. You know what I'm saying? It makes you more insecure. It makes you literally cope. Because if you're saying that every woman is actually going to cheat, you're using that as a coping mechanism as well.
That's coping skills. No, every girl not doing that. Every girl not accurate. Doing that. Every girl ain't trying to get attention. Every girl.
That is very, very accurate. There are some women that are socially awkward that don't even know how to get any good attention to dudes. Some people actually just get into their looks very late. Some women actually just get into their looks very late. That happens. Some people get into their looks very late. That happens. Some women are still socially awkward today. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like they're going to come out here and actually just go to Instagram. They're going to literally fly out to actually see some guy and actually get piped down. And some random dude, some rich dudes will come by and actually just pick some women just from the middle of bumblefuck America and literally just fly him out. That's not practical. That's not every single woman out there. a lot of women definitely literally tend to stay up in their corners and actually just tend to actually get men and actually get in serious relationships with people from their social groups. That's all over America. You know, the ones that want to try and go and actually chase this high lifestyle, perk-me lifestyle, a lot of them are materialistic people that want to focus on the external. Materialistic women that want to focus on the external. You feel me?
Ain't trying to do this. Every girl ain't trying to do that. Man, bro, let me tell y'all something, G. Penis is on their mind 24/7.
Not always. If penis is really on their mind 24/7, they won't be focused on what they mainly doing. They literally will be literally like whores up in the slave shop. You know what I'm saying? Some women are literally focused on actually trying to get their work done. Others are worried about for their families. Others literally are worried about like how their families are doing, how they gonna try and literally try to move up the ranks. Others are trying, how am I gonna try and get like this, get this bag, just to try and maintain my living situation, given the fact that it's a complex economy. How am I gonna be dealing with actually just staying alive, just to avoid dealing with like another round of layoffs? That could factor in as well in the middle of a complex economy. You know what I'm saying? It's not always, and again, some women have the penis 24/7 mindset, you know, depending on which hot guy they see, but it's not every single woman. You know what I'm saying? Some women aren't really actually that interested in men due to the fact that they're deeply traumatized over the hurt that they dealt with in the past relationship because of those things. And I just say to those women, just go seek therapy in regards with that. But ain't no way that a woman gonna be thinking about penis literally 24/7. I have a younger sister, and she doesn't even act that way. She thinks about her dogs, but she doesn't even think about any man's penis, any man's cock, 24/7 out the day while she's mainly working and while she's mainly taking care of her dogs. I have a mother who's actually clearly married to my dad, and all she thinks about is him and nobody else. Like who would even do these types of things? I have cousins that don't even think that way. Aunts and uncles that don't even think that way. You know what I'm saying? You know, they don't even think too much. Actually, just do all these random texts every single time because we got so much stuff going on. That is delusional. That is impractical in what Steph is called is saying.
They think about it 24/7. They think about it, bro.
That's not practical.
They have a attention span of a goldfish.
That is delusional.
You mean to tell me that your girl not like that?
Not all women are like that. That is definitely true. We cannot generalize them. And actually, speaking of which, if you see anybody that generalizes a whole group thinking that of like one experience that they have, thinking that all so and so are like this is a red flag right there. This is a red flag that you need to actually just drill up in your ear and make sure you do not take that person very, very seriously due to the fact that this person is not fully in tune with reality. He is not fully in tune with practicality. You have to leave that person alone and get with somebody that's definitely way more practical than this.
Why wouldn't she be like that? I just seen something on Facebook, G, of a dude complaining to his girl that she shouldn't be wearing a certain particular thing to the gym. He said that, dang, girl, you wore that to the gym? I thought you just had on sweatpants. She said, I had on clothes under it. Basically, nigga, F you and your boundaries and what you think. I want to be a 304. We have to allow them to be.
And again, and if you don't meet the standards, and that's that person's standards, that's that gentleman's standards, let them walk. But not every man is mainly thinking that way. You know what I'm saying? Just because they got mainly tight spandexes and they're not coming out here literally just acting full. Now, yeah, some women are. They want to try and get the attention, actually try and get themselves in the mirror. Unbeknownst to them, even seeing other people watch it, but they're not giving a damn. But they want to try and actually get themselves really thirst trapping all day just to actually try and lift some weights. While you have other women that are mainly focused on actually just making progress and actually just handling things in a more respectable manner.
The 304 that they are and treat them as such.
Leave them alone.
Stop trying to hold them hostage. Stop trying to control that woman. That woman trying to cover up around you, but when she around everybody else, she's showing them big cheeks.
Then if you're that concerned, leave her alone. I do agree with him on that.
We gotta just realize that. Understand that. Accept that. Your life will be so much more colder. You know she for the streets if she doing that. She got on a jacket, but when she not around you, she's showing her big cleavage. Man, if you don't spray nothing but paint juice all over her chest and face 3 times a week, twice a week, and keep it pushing and have a rotation of 304s, these women act like we don't know about the dudes that they talk to behind our back. We know.
And most of these same dudes gonna literally have the chance. Literally will tell you actually trying to get a rotation, pop women out, focus on knots count. That's what they did to have you do. They have you literally trying to have you be a hoe too, just like them. You know, you're dealing with this whole little evolving door. Now, if you as a man still want to be faithful and you don't want to deal with that type of lifestyle, ain't nothing wrong with that. Let them be, and then the best way to come about situations like this is literally win, not just win in like, you know, academics, finances, fitness, but more so with your social game and more so with your character. Because when you see more women, okay, filling it out, she will treat you better than the last woman can. And if things go well, that you build a strong foundation together, you can literally have as many kids as you want and literally trying to build a family together. That's the best way to literally win right there. You know what I'm saying? Having a stable life, wife and kids, making yourself feel whole, making yourself feel rich. That's the best way to win. But again, not every man mainly thinks that way. Every man has his own definition of winning, which I fully respect, which I fully understand. But I'm mainly trying to explain that this type of stuff that Steph is saying, some of it is very delusional, even though the main point is, you know, if she acts like a hoe and if she has his concerns and there's evidence there, you just leave her alone and just move on and keep it pushing. That's all. But it gets crazier, ladies and gentlemen.
We know. We know. Stop trying to not act on it, fellas. Nigga, you know she talking to other niggas. Nigga, you know. I'm finna get my nails. You think she getting her nails done for you? You're crazy. She getting her nails done to grip another dude.
Nah, some of them do actually get their nails done for themselves. They don't even think that much. Few of them would. I'll say that. A few of them would, but you can't assume every woman is actually going to be that way. It's generalization, as I stated before.
She getting her toes done to probably send to her sugar daddy or to put on another dude.
Yeah, that's all guesstimation and that's all generalizing.
I'm telling y'all, women don't do nothing by accident and they don't do nothing alone. I'm telling y'all the facts.
And some of these dudes out here don't even do nothing alone either. They come up with their bro patch, they come up with their pseudo gurus actually trying to do things up in the coat. Some of them don't do these things either nowadays. You know, and then there's some women they'll have maybe a friend or two or even their main relatives that do some stuff now. And there are a few women that mainly just keep to themselves. And there are a few men that keep to themselves and actually walk alone. You know, that's like the pseudo red pill is preaching. You know, walk alone, held your chest held high, enjoy things by yourself, which some people actually do enjoy taking themselves vacations, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, ain't nothing wrong with that down to the core. I'm just saying that if you generalize and assume all people are like this way, you'll literally get yourself up in the delusional saying you literally warp your mind.
Water break.
Juicy. Get himself moisturized again, I see.
Juicy.
But hey, I do that too. You know, I get myself thirsted up, so ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Telling you the facts. But she want to feed you like, he ugly. I never talk to him. He ugly. I never talk. Everything to throw you off. Everything to throw you a loop. Everything to make it seem like you tripping. When in reality, who tripping? Her.
But again, make sure you get concrete evidence to actually definitely back your claim and save that shit. You know what I mean? TikTok that shit, whatever you gotta do, just save it. So you'll be able to have evidence to back up your claim. That'll be able to strengthen that evidence against her. That'll be the best way to do it.
So, and then what happens is you have kids with these kind of women. Oh, it's over. Your life is over, bro. It's a wrap. It's over it. You gotta be quicker with cutting these women off and making an example out of them. You gotta be quicker to cut them off. You gotta be quicker. That's why I did the story time on my Patreon explaining that Genesis was trying to friend zone me. You've been knowing me. You've been watching my content for 4 years. Was trying to downplay my success in front of all these people. And what made you creep, what made you more jealous is this guys was coming up to me in public. Man, fuck with your content, Steph. I mean, I felt him working out. Man, I love your content. You felt some type of way. But it made your friend pussy wet. But it made you feel some kind of way. I peeped that. But you think you could just play with me? Come to church with me, Steph. What the fuck do I look like going to church with a woman that's not my woman? What the fuck I look like going to church with a woman that's not giving me cheeks? What the fuck I look like going to church with a woman that's telling me, oh, I'm not free this weekend, Friday or Saturday? What do I look like? A fool. Not a fool. But your friend want me, though, but you jealous because your friend want me. Come on, dog. My name is Steph is Cole. I understand the modern day female. I understand the modern day female and how she thinks and why she moves the way she moves.
Do you really do? And are you willing to adjust to the current times that's mainly in? Because again, if you're trying to actually generalize based on the few women that you had up in your past, that's a little bit delusional. I'm just saying, there's other players really up in the book that actually have boned hundreds and hundreds of women, 1,000 women, and don't even think in the way that Steph is Cold is thinking. You know what I'm saying? There's something you got to be real careful about. Got to be very careful. And I'm a mathematician.
If you have one, you will always have more coming. If you don't have none, you will never have none coming. Trust me when I say that. It's better to cheat on them than to be faithful to them.
Yeah, and that's why you're in the position that you're in now. And if you actually cheat them more often and you literally struggle to actually be faithful in relationships, actually have a stable marriage, you actually just telling dudes actually it's all right to actually definitely cheat on women than actually be faithful to them, while assuming that your woman that you got with is definitely a 304. So here's the part where it's actually being very contradictory. You're saying that your woman that you with is an automatic 304 because if you choose to be faithful to them, she gonna cheat if she's not focused on you the majority of the time. Even if she has like a job that she's trying to build that you mainly build together that could literally benefit the two of you. If she actually gives out her equal share and you give your share and she gives her share and you have a two-way street, you know what I'm saying? If it works well, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? However, sorry. Excuse me. However, you literally telling dudes to cheat on your woman in a serious relationship, and mind you, really cheating on them, and you're not being thoroughly honest with like your woman that you've been with together, you never set those boundaries from the beginning. Of course he's going to lose more further respect from you. Of course he's going to have more justification, maybe cheating you back or just leave your ass altogether. Why not say, hey, have a multiple rotation and not just commit to a relationship at all? You see the contradiction right there? You're telling dudes that there's nothing wrong with cheating on women. Even if you're in a relationship, it's better to cheat on them than to actually be faithful with them because you're assuming they're 304s. So that means that the dudes got to be hoes too? That's the contradictory part that I see in you, right? You want dudes to live through an ideology, but not trying to specialize in other dudes' specific problems on how they should improve socially, especially with women. Thinking that the only way it's going to be is all general stuff and extremely oversimplifying is just go to the gym, pump iron, you know what I mean? Go level up in money and then level up and actually just bagging women. It's like an oversimplification of how to improve socially. But in reality, it's way, way greater than that. And that's the issue that Steph is Cold does not see. He tends to generalize stuff because he does not have that much experience or even that much game with women actually try and give a lot of dudes. Mainly some specialized training or specialized situations that you handle whenever they see a woman that actually deals with this situation on how to actually handle confidence and how to actually handle social skills or subtle cues, how to pick certain subtle cues out, actually trying to work themselves, how to actually keep some of the conversations going, definitely with people that are interested in you. And that part can be very hard to do at times. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to try and make sure you keep the balance there, which is a little bit of a tricky slope. But you got to try and make sure you keep the balance of actually keeping them around without being too needy. That's the main challenge in regards to that. They could vary per women. It could vary, but could definitely vary per man as well. It depends on that person's mindset. So that's easy to have in regards to his statement. And again, I'm not attacking Steph here, but I'm attacking his message. I'm attacking what he's actually saying, because what he's saying, most of it is extremely delusional and also hypocritical.
It's better to cheat on them than be faithful. They don't respect nothing good, nothing faithful, nothing of honor. They don't respect. That's
yeah. And then again, he's generalizing all women, right? So what he's actually trying to tell you is that he gives you a green light to actually go cheat on all these other women as well. But if you do all that, a lot of women will lose respect for you as well. That's the other trick also. And I've seen it, I've witnessed it up in real life. There's other people, the other hardcore image consultants and actually game gurus actually tell these things as well. Cheating is cheating regardless. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will lose respect for their little significant partner due to the fact that they broke that trust. They violated that trust the moment they stepped out with another woman unbeknownst to their knowledge, or another man unbeknownst to their knowledge. Cheating is cheating regardless.
why when they break up with you, they try to sleep with your friends.
Juicy! Here's the worst part, y'all.
Your so-called friends. Your haters, your enemies. And you think she's moral? So the only way you get back her is, sleep with her mama, sleep with her friends. Wild leveling up. Play the mirror effect. Wild leveling up. That's the only way.
This motherfucker is clearly wilding. You ain't gotta do all that shit. All you gotta do is just cut her off and just win. Don't be focusing on the mom, and don't be focusing too much on friends and I'm gonna pipe her friends down. No. Just cut her off, focus on you, seek therapy with somebody the therapist that you literally trust and can definitely vouch for, okay? And then focus on you and actually just continue to win and get better. Get better socially, get better academically, get better financially, get better at your job, get better between your family, get better in moral character. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way to go about it. But getting that revenge or like cheating on a family members just to be petty? Come on, man. You really gonna escalate the situation and making this whole situation worse than it needs to be. That right there is delusional. That right there is gonna make the situation much worse in reality, Steph. It ain't gonna work. If you want to do it, that's on you, but you're going to put yourself at a life's risk because you don't know who that girl's family member is. You don't know if they got like some loose screws up in that family with like some male, we got like some loose screw males that literally just come up and literally off you in the head. You don't know that. So it's best to just leave her alone and cut that whole ties off with her and her family and just focus on you. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do all that shit.
Other than that, you doing yourself a disservice, G. You doing yourself a disservice.
And I'm going to leave it right where it stands right there. I am going to leave it. I'm not going to even actually just go and listen too much of this nonsense. But this is just classic pseudo red pill content, pseudo red pill ideology at its finest. You know, all women are 304s. All men are good. Ain't nothing wrong with piping out multiple women if you're in a relationship. That is some hardcore pseudo red pill ideology that many of it will not work in real life. And I do want to ask y'all this. Is this motherfucker right here Alpha Guru?